Speaker, I'll make a brief comment.
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I first want to acknowledge that this bill deals with some issues that have been difficult for Parliament for quite some time. And I think it's fair to say that there's been no attempt, I think, to rort systems, but there has been a series of rules in place that were somewhat unclear. And so the clarity that will come from this legislation is very, very welcome. I want to acknowledge the committee who worked on this bill. Among that committee were members pretty much equally split between those who have recently come to Parliament and those who have been here for a longer period of time. And so there were people on the committee who had not gone through an election where they were personally elected and therefore in a situation of having a question about how their funding was used, and those who had some 34 election experiences between them. So fresh sets of eyes coming in, plus those who had gone through this over a large period of years, and I think for that reason we can have quite a bit of confidence that this gets to the heart of the matter. My only concern, if I had one, was that there is a provision in the back here for recovery of amounts that are validly paid by parliamentary services to members through their entitlement, which can be recovered subsequently upon another body, the Electoral Commission, determining that those payments or that advertising or whatever did not comply. So I think what we've put in there is a fair check and a fair balance on the provisions that are made here. And as the Honourable Leanne Dalzell said in the speech that preceded me, we do now have the basis for much clearer rules. So I want to congratulate the committee for that work, and particularly the leadership of Amy Adams, a new member herself who was looking at some legislation that hopefully she'll have many occasions to resort to. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
The question is that clause 1 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 2 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 3 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 3A stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 4 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 5 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 6 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. The question is that clause 7 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. I will report this bill without amendment presently. Members, we move to the third bill in the House and Committee of the Whole, and the question, that is the electoral referendum bill. And the question is that clause 2A stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary no. Clause 2A will stand part. The question is that part 1 stand part. That's clauses 3 to 6 in Schedule 1. Materia Ture.